Hi everybody, and welcome to the end of the week. It's TNT from Phuket Town. I don't even know the name of the hotel I'm staying at. It was one of those last minute bookings on bookings.com. But here I am and sitting in the foyer, so there could be people walking past all the way through the program. Sure, they'll have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. Some days I don't either. Now we'll go to this story on thaipbsworld.com, and it says my next destination is Government House. This from Pita Limjaroenrat. After being cleared of those shareholding charges, he's now been resumed as an MP and made his way back into Parliament House yesterday. Former Move Forward Party leader Pita Limjaroenrat told the media on his first day back in Parliament after 6 months' absence that his next destination is Government House. And during his absence from Parliament, as initially ordered by the Constitutional Court, Peter said he spent most of his time meeting people around the country and listening to their problems. He said that he will join a debate in Parliament tomorrow on a motion proposed by the Phumjai Thai Party by raising the issue of uncollected garbage and garbage management in Samut Prakan and Phuket. So back into the day today, good old rubbish collection, one of those things that governments just, have to do. Of course, the Move Forward Party do face another challenge next Wednesday as the Constitutional Court sits once again, possibility that the party could be disbanded. And then beyond that is the question of whether Pita Limjaroenrat is going to be renominated and regain the position as the leader of the Move Forward Party. Let's move on. Well, asked about another pending court case against the Move Forward Party over its policy to amend the Lèse Majesté law, he said he feels the same as he did about the ITV share ownership case, adding that the case is, however, now beyond the party's control. Let's move on to this story from BangkokPost.com, and a Ukrainian found hanged at Samui durian plantation. And a 32-year-old Ukrainian man's been found hanged with both hands tied behind his back at a durian plantation on the tourist island of Koh Samui. Now, doctor and rescue workers went to the plantation on Ta Sok Mountain at the village Mu 3 in Tanbon Maret on Wednesday night. And the body of a foreign man wearing only shorts was found hanged by the neck with a green nylon rope from a branch of a durian tree. His face was covered with a red t-shirt and his hands were tied behind his back with a cable tie. He was wearing black sports shoes. A new chair was found fallen on the ground near his feet, and the body had begun to decompose. In the second paragraph there, the officers believed the man had been dead for 5 or 6 days before the body was discovered. His name was withheld pending notification of relatives. And local residents told police that the area where the body was found was isolated and outsiders seldom went there except durian growers and plantation workers. And a preliminary investigation showed that the Ukrainian man had been staying at a hotel in Maret where Ukrainian tourists stayed in groups. He'd lived in Samui for several years and was reported to have suffered from depression. And then video from a closed-circuit television camera showed the man in a red t-shirt hiring a taxi to take him to the foothills of Ta Sok Mountain, heading to the plantation. Some sort of indirect references there that it may have been suicide. Exactly how he would have tied his own hands behind his back, I'm not quite sure. We go to this next story now at the PattayaNews.com. And tourist speedboat collides with reef near Koh Kood. All 12 tourists and 3 crewmates rescued safely. So a happy ending, but this must have been terrifying. And apparently it happened at 2:30 p.m. on January the 24th. When a report was received about a speedboat colliding with a reef, causing a shipwreck 16 miles away from the Lam Tian area. This is off Koh Kood in Trat. 3 Trat marine rescue speedboats were dispatched to coordinates 3532, as reported by the victims. However, the marine rescue teams couldn't find the victims or the speedboat in the reported area. And the rescue speedboats then searched the vicinity with the assumption that the speedboat might have drifted away due to the ocean waves. And then at 5:15, this is some 3 hours after they received the first report, the marine rescue team spotted the victims floating with life jackets in a weary condition. And all of the victims were successfully rescued and transferred to the Koh Kood Hospital for an initial body examination. Some of them drank seawater, according to the rescue team. And there's a photo of them when they were found, sort of in two clumps. But that would have been pretty terrifying, just floating around in the water with very little to hang on, wondering whether, in fact, you're going to be found. But good news is they were found. The TNT program coming to you from Phuket Town today, back in Turtle Beach later today, and we will be doing our live program from Turtle Beach tomorrow between 9 and 10 a.m. You're all welcome to join in with comments and topics and anything else you'd like to throw at me. And then on Sunday, we'll also have Grumpy Old Men with Steve Ross. Now, going to our next story now, and international British teacher arrested for luring minors to commit indecent acts in Pathum Thani, and this reported by the PattayaNews.com. And it relates to a British teacher who allegedly committed an indecent act to minors under the age of 13 at an international school in Chonburi in Pathum Thani. Don't worry, I've already had a look. Seems to be multiple international schools in Chonburi, so we don't really know which one it was. According to a report by the police, the British teacher, publicly identified only as Mr. David, who's 59, allegedly lured minors under the age of 13 and committed indecent acts during lunch breaks. It was reported that at least 4 children were victims, according to police. And the story was revealed when one of the teachers in class heard students discuss David's behaviours. The teachers then asked the students to explain what happened to them before reporting the story to the students' guardians, according to the police. And one of the parents' students stated that they recently heard the news that their daughter was one of the victims for at least 7 to 8 months. The victim reportedly told the parents that during lunch break, David lured the victim to a teacher's room to commit the crimes. Now, police finally confronted the man on January the 24th in Pathum Thani. However, the suspect fainted after the police showed up, and the police then urgently transferred the suspect to a local hospital for medical treatment. Really? Well, we'll just sort of let that go. Initially, the suspect reportedly confessed his wrongdoings before being escorted to Chonburi court for further legal processing on committing an indecent act to minors under the age of 13. We do keep on hearing stories about these sexual assaults on underage people, but the Thai police do take this very seriously, and I would humbly suggest this man is in a world of trouble. We'll go to this story now from PattayaMail.com. Story by Barry Kenyon. Is there an alternative to Thailand's 90 days reporting? It's one of those issues that really gets a lot of people very hot under the collar. The problems they're having with doing the 90-day reporting, whether they should be expected to do the 90-day reporting at all, or they've forgotten to do the 90-day reporting and they're worrying about being fined or how to approach immigration to sort the matter out. But it does get a lot of discussion. Anyway, this is the story from Barry. There are several reasons, he says, why most expats in Thailand have to report their presence and address every 3 months. The usual justification is to keep an eye on any wayward foreigners or to prevent tourists from staying more than 3 months, including an extension, without leaving the countries. But there are other uses, like assisting embassies to locate an individual in Thailand whose relatives have just died in their home country, and up-to-date registration of 90 days is also likely to be necessary to obtain a Thai police clearance. Expats can also avoid the 90-day reporting if they hold a 4-year smart visa or a 10-year long-term residence or have qualified for permanent residency. There's another way, and I'll go through that a little bit later in this article, but Barry goes on to go through what happens in some neighbouring countries. He says all neighbouring countries have procedures in place to monitor long-term expats. He says in the Philippines you'll need to deal with the Alien Certificate of Residence, whether a business person, a pleasure seeker or a health tourist, and those with work permits and some others must even appear in person for the annual reporting review. Well, that's once a year. Then in Vietnam, by contrast, it's the only Southeast Asian country with a government website which suggests you obtain your annual visa through an agent and pay them extra. Vietnam's visa policy has vastly improved of late, although your landlord is required to register you with the commune police not more than 12 hours after arrival. And then Cambodia has the nearest equivalent to Thailand with its app-based foreign present in Cambodia system, technically the responsibility of the landlord, although as in Thailand, do it yourself if necessary. And unless registered, no visa extension after the first 30 days can be granted, and you'll likely face fines when trying to leave Cambodia, even if you are not on overstay. And it says, like it or not, 90-day reporting is here to stay in Thailand, especially as the anticipated improvements to the online service take effect. So you'll still be able to go to the local immigration office and do your 90-day reporting. I know, for example, in Phuket they've got a drive-through service, even though the drive-through's on the wrong side, so you have to lean across the passenger or the spare seat to get your forms out to the window. But all that aside, at least it's a drive-through service and it's very quick and efficient. Also, of course, now you can go online. You're being encouraged to go online and try the online process at least one more time and see how you go. Certainly, if it does work and it works for you, it does make the whole 90-day reporting a lot easier. Now, Barry suggests a way that you can get around the 90-day reporting, and I'll allude to it. Expats who leave the country, this is the middle of the paragraph, within 3 months do not have to participate, and the clock starts ticking on return with day one. So if you don't want to front up to immigration and you don't want to even do it online, yeah, you can just leave the country and come back, knowing that you've got a visa when you come back. The only thing there is you've got to make sure you've got a re-entry permit. And if you didn't get a multiple re-entry when you got your visa, you'll have to pay 1,900 baht to get that re-entry. And then finally, talking about the 90-day reporting, registration can be within a 3-week period, 14 days before or 7 days after the due date, without any fines. And that story in the pattayamail.com. Go to nationthailand.com now, and Thailand's economy grew only 1.8% last year, well below the expected 2.7%. And the article says Thailand's economy expanded by 1.8% last year, down from 2.6% in 2022, as the manufacturing and export sectors contracted. But the ministry expects GDP growth at 2.8% this year, as the country's seen increased exports of goods and services. And then the second paragraph, he said another factor to help boost economic growth this year would be an expected increase in foreign tourist arrivals to 33.5 million, and that would be 19.5% higher than last year. So if you're a politician, you'd be saying, well, growth is growth, and even at 1.8%, Thailand doing a lot better than many other countries even last year. And we go now to the PattayaNews.com, and briefly, escaped lions in Chonburi village startle residents. More lions wandering around Chonburi. It's becoming safari a go-go. And on January the 25th, residents of Mu 4 in Hua Yai area of Chonburi were startled by the sight of 2 large lions roaming the street. They were named Asor and Lin Lin, and apparently it happened due to a malfunctioning automatic gate. And the owner, only identified as Ms. Sky, 28, managed to safely guide the lions back inside and secure the gate with a leash. Well, knowing cats, calling them would have had absolutely no effect at all. And Ms. Sky stated to reporters that she'd been raising the lions, a male and a female, since they were cubs, approximately at 45 days old, and now at 10 months old they've become part of the local community. However, while some residents are fine with the lions, others expressed concern about their potential danger. And they added that they often see the owners playing with the lions and feeding them large bags of chicken frames. In addition, Ms. Sky has 2 pet Rottweilers at her residence. I think she's running some sort of security company. She assured them that the lions are not aggressive and can be handled with caution. Now, this comes as private ownership of lions has risen as a major concern in Thailand and is the second incident with a lion in the Pattaya area in a week. Well, there you go. Only in Pattaya, as they say. Well, thanks for watching today. Hopefully you're a bit more up to date with things happening around Thailand. Big thanks to our sponsor, 5-Star Marine, and you can contact them on their website at 5starmarinephuket.com. I'd warmly recommend Sean and his team as your choice if you want to head off Phuket into Pangar Bay and explore some of those amazing islands. Hope you have a fantastic Friday. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for a live program between 9 and 10 a.m. Thai time. In the meantime, all the way from Phuket town, have a great Friday.